G'day punters, welcome to the mailbag Group 1 racing from Morphettville, the SA Derby. We've also got the Andrew Ramsden. They're going to be our two feature races that we will preview today. But Curls, there's plenty going on up your way in Queensland. It's now the Eagle Farm 10,000, which doesn't necessarily roll off the tongue. And even then, there must be
No.
some doubt over the race meet.
Yes, hello, Pistol. Yeah, very wet in Queensland. I think the dam capacities are at 110%. Um, for anyone that's not familiar with the geography of southeast Queensland, we've got Brisbane like at sea level, and then we slowly sort of go up as we get towards, say, Toowoomba. That's why sort of known as King of the Hill at times, which is not true. Um, so all the rain sort of floods down, comes down into the catchments around the big dam, Wivenhoe, and so obviously from there, there's only one place that water can go, and that's through the Brisbane River, through the Brisbane
Yes.
CBD and into the sea. So 110% capacity, some minor flooding already in Brisbane and surrounds, and water will be letting go, and the Cabalaba dogs are on red alert there. That track's underwater or about to be underwater. So I don't know whether they're going to race. I assume that they will. The Eagle Farm track has been well known for its drainage capabilities. Normally 400 mils of rain sort of pushes it into that soft 5 sort of region. So, yeah. Plus there's a Group 1 on, as you said, so they'll race. But I don't know. It'll come down to what the weather's like on the day. If it's rain and crap on like it is at the moment. I know in Brisbane it's been raining. In Toowoomba the rain's sideways. And it's just horrible weather all around. So hard to get enthusiastic to even look at a race.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And then you add the 7 metre rail that Eagle Farm has to run on because they're protecting the track for the remainder of the carnival. We've had rail positions at 3 metres and 5 metres and 9 metres, and if you're not rails in run, you weren't winning. So,
Yeah.
good luck. Buy my stuff and bet race by race with me. It's all I can suggest.
Yeah, absolutely. It will be far easier, I imagine, to win betting late than it will be betting early.
Indeed.
All right, well, let's talk about Morphettville. Race 8 on the card is the SA Derby. The favourite is Allegron. Detonator Jack is second favourite, and then you've got Jungle Magnate, Harley Movin'. They're the horses under $10. So the starting point is the favourite, Allegron. Is it just too good for them?
Now, this was the horse where I thought Ollie gave it a great ride when it won. Is this the same horse?
Yeah, this is the Flemington, won the
Yeah.
VRC, St Ledger.
Yeah. The jumper's flat for 3-year-olds, the St Ledger. Geez, I just wonder whether there's some horses with some better turn of foot in here. Looking at the data is where I started. Pistol. Now we've priced this on the model,
Yep.
the infamous model. Current market price Allegron is sub $3,
Yep.
and like the model's going to land somewhere around low to mid threes.
Yep.
So does that mean we should be betting around it?
Yeah, I'm not sure how much you can take
I
it
don't know.
on, but I think certainly there's one or two others that do appeal at their current prices. It's interesting because Ollie's ridden 3 different horses in this field last start, and John Allen's ridden 4 of them last start. And they've obviously picked the first 2 favourites, so Allegron and Detonator Jack.
Easy decisions to make though.
Yeah,
In fairness.
basically they're both visually impressive. Allegron's obviously the one horse that has the distance covered. You're racing at 2,800 last start, decent figure overall. Obviously ran third in the Australian Derby, so it does look very difficult to beat. But there's no guarantee that Gate 2 is going to be a great draw for it. It's more than likely going to be rails and run, you'd think. It probably gets Gate 1 actually once a 6-foot song gets scratched. I was going to end up saying something else there for a second, but I didn't. But there's speed drawn out wide, so you've got Son of Emperor, King of Pharaohs. I've got no idea how to pronounce the 13, so I'll go for Claremore. I think it's Claymore. From what I understand, it's a weapon in a video game. play on. Anyway, if those horses settle in the first three, there's every chance that they will stop at some point. And if Ollie can't get a legger on off the fence, he might very well lose momentum, as we've seen in previous staying races in Adelaide that we've bet into. I'm not talking about My Whisper, but talking about My Whisper. So what does that mean? You've got all these horses that will be building momentum. So Harley Movin', Detonated Jack, Jungle Magnate, and Yaffet. So a lot of it's just going to come down to race shape, and it's pretty difficult to predict that. Harley Movin' obviously got about 18 to 20 lengths off them last start and went with Jungle Magnate, half loomed and then stopped, but that was a high tempo race. But
it was.
There's a few different angles here, but the horse I kept coming back to just off what it's done so far, this prep and split wise, is Yaffet, which will be well and truly back there. But geez, it's been running some very good splits. It's a Blackfriars horse, so not many people probably outside of WA will identify with Blackfriars, but good stays, exactly. Yep. Massive splits, last 200 there, going through the line at Caulfield. Wasn't really suited versus the day, got well and truly too far back. That's the way at the current price of $17. I just have to have something on at that price. And I'm sure there will be other people happy to back something shorter in the market, but I'm not really going to be angling that way in this race. It looks a bit settled for me.
Now, there's... I had a good look at your feet. Yaffet. Actually, it's 1E, isn't it? Yaffet.
Don't know.
Anyway. So, yes, you could say that the tempo was strong and it settled back and it was entitled to run on. The thing that I was mostly impressed by with its numbers late was the race went that quick that this horse still had to go out -3 to the 600 just to tack on, just to keep up. So he still ran along at a good tempo at -3 to the 600 and then was able to reel a -8 home from an unwinnable position. So definitely the last 200 was like -3 for class.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Like that's proper.
Yeah, great figure. Obviously, there's the little unknowns, and I think you touched on that earlier with Allegron already having to tick that box of 2,500, and it's got to go another 500 metres. Most of these, looking at the data there, most of them are sort of stepping up for the first time. So if you look at overall race speed and closing speed, Yaffet is going to be mapped where it's going to be wide with momentum, which is not a negative. Where the favourite's going to be potentially buried and needing to be picked through the gaps like he did last time to win.
Great ride.
So with all that, put in the pot, is great. He represents a great bet at the price.
Yeah.
Yaffet. Obviously, you've got, Jungle Magnate, Harley Movin', the two that you mentioned earlier. Now, they probably had to sort of launch a little bit earlier, and then it was like a little bit of survival of the fittest the last 200. I don't know whether that's being a bit harsh on them, but if they have to make the same long, sustained runs, I'm trying to work out which one out of them two I like the best.
Yeah, I mean...
You know what I mean? Like...
If the ghost of Jay Dickens was on this show, you'd say trust the SP.
Yep, that's why he's a retired punter, because he couldn't win trusting the SP. Harley Movin' obviously stepped up to 2,000 the first time and had a good SP advantage over Jungle Magnate, yes. Yeah. But off a well-exposed preparation, Peter, as well. Like, he's had a lot of runs this prep, Harley Movin'. So, he was entitled to have an SP profile superior to Jungle Magnate, who had only had the 2 runs back from a spell where Harley Movin' was, had won a couple in a row, maybe more, 2 in a row, including knocking off Daisies, the moral of the month, back in April. So, entitled to have an SP profile. Does it start shorter than Jungle Magnate this time around. Probably.
Yeah, just as a result. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not sure if they'll try and ride it the same way as last up because it really did drop out and completely lost contact there early. In fact, you watch the replay, you can't even see it until they come around the corner and it launches itself about 18 wide into the straight. But it was a fascinating replay. I'll put it that way.
As opposed to its last start, where it was able to, to make use of the low gate and early movement, sort of had itself in the picture.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There will be a 3 wide line, obviously, and that's going to be key, is who's leading that 3 wide line and where all these other horses fit into place, because we've seen John Allen win, I don't know, narrative however many of the last 6 or 7 SA derbies, and him on Detonator Jack from 14, I suspect he'll be part of that 3 wide line. I'm not sure we'll see Russian Camelot style where it was basically 4 wide and just kept it happy and with momentum, because I'm not totally convinced that this horse is necessarily showing the same ability just yet as Russian Camelot. So I think he'll possibly be a little bit more circumspect with this one. But again, first preparation, it's doing plenty, and it is suggesting it will get the trip, but off only very slow tempo races. So
that's the problem. That's the problem. And once upon a time we would be concerned with a horse having its 4th run and its first prep and a month between runs. But it's trained by Mara and Eustace, so you don't even look.
And plenty of these, Jackleberry types are going, they're just proper stayers as well. So.
Stayers.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, fascinating race. If your feet doesn't win, I'll be losing. I'm not going to make any bold statements. I'm just going to back it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Have something on at the price. Okay, let's talk about some more slow horses, and the Andrew Ramsden 2800, the winner through to the Cup. And in terms of the market, I was surprised to see Splendiferous favourite around that $3.40 mark, and then you've got Point Nepean through Irish Eyes and Lunci's. They're the horses in single figures, with also Warning just on the cusp. I'm not sure. Did you have any opinion there? Because Splendiferous obviously won well in Adelaide, but I thought it had everything in its favour. Good tempo, proper ride. Probably gets something similar here, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Gay's horse zoom on Point Nepean try and sort of take it on up front.
Yeah, I'm sure there'd be some horses here that would think that they are superior stayers, and this will just be an absolute grind. They will just be on speed and running hard. So, I want fitness base. Well, obviously it's a 2,800 metre race. I anticipate that most of them will be fit. I want fitness base and a proven record of being able to handle brutal tempos and be on speed. I don't want to be on anything sort of like thinking that they can sit back and run over the top here at the end of 2,800 in this sort of class of, this is a great look into the race like the Briley or something in 2 years' time, or that other race they have at Warrnambool with a, what's it called?
The Cup or the Grand Annual?
The Horseman Memorial Race of the Jericho.
The Jericho, right. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, it's a natural progression, isn't it? The Andrew Ramsden into the Melbourne Cup, into the Jericho, a couple of years down the track. Obviously, the conditions of this race has changed, though. It's for those up-and-coming stayers that are 3, 4 and 5 year old. Up-and-coming stayers. Anyway, that being said, Point Nepean kind of fits that narrative for me, doesn't it?
It's got a great platform for this, doesn't it? It's just been running at the distance range consistently, good tempo events, seems to draw well. Alana Kelly's going to put it somewhere in the first 4. It's got a strong SP last start that was better than through Irish Eyes. Yeah, you're exactly right. That was the horse I suspected when I was doing the form. I thought it would be favourite, and I was surprised that it wasn't. And I think it and through Irish Eyes, if I was going to save on one horse, it would probably be it, just given the fact they're coming through the same race, and that form does look to be pretty promising early days. I wasn't really sure what to do with Sound the Cannons. I know it's coming off that quick backup. I'm not sure if you've got any theories. I mean, typically I do try and bonus horses that are going up in distance with a quick backup.
Anyone that's listening at home that doesn't take notice, horses on quick backups are supported in the market by the people that set the SP, which are the big dogs.
The big dogs.
They love blind betting the quick backup.
Yeah.
So should you. I'm not. I mean, I think that's almost a blanket rule.
Yeah.
The quick backup bet. They definitely get bonus for the quick backup. I love the quick backup, definitely.
And what are we getting? Like around 20s or so?
Yeah, 20s.
So you can save Sound the Cannons at least, or you can get something out of it depending on how you want to play. But
and for those that enjoy the switch narrative, you get J Carr off as well. So you're getting 20s.
for Zach Spain, so you're getting the price because Jamie's off.
Yeah. Jamie's on. It's, probably start shorter.
Probably, yeah, 10, 11 at this stage.
Maybe. But look, I think they're the horses that I'm looking for, so that, we discussed that fitness base and on speed. So I was sort of pointing the P and through Irish eyes sort of narrative.
Yeah, the one reason I thought you could probably give through Irish eyes a little bit of a bonus, it just wasn't suited versus the day their last start at Caulfield in that point to pan race. And there's been 0.3 of a length in the end. So although Point Nepean had a strong last start SP, it did seemingly find itself in a better position than where Through Irish Eyes was. But again, there's no guarantee that that's going to necessarily change at Flemington. Point Nepean will have a head start, and Through Irish Eyes with Giant Board will probably settle midfield, worse than midfield, and have to rely on getting the right race shape and things going right up front. So it's probably a little bit difficult to stamp it as a out-and-out bet necessarily, but those are the numbers I'm playing around. I didn't really find Warning or Luncey's, and
nah, me either.
Look, on their best figures, yes, they can win and they can stay, but I'm prepared to bet around them. Warning's on his second up as well, so that would be, the narrative performance of if they could somehow get it up. But
did you bet yesterday before you did the preview today? I see Sound of Cannons went up $61 at the tab.
I certainly did not.
Neither did I. I just noticed that. Anyway, I'm sure that everyone involved will be doing their best to drive some brilliant narrative around this race. But this is why we have imported horses racing in the Melbourne Cup.
Well, some of these are imported anyway. They've just been here long enough that we forget.
And if they don't pull their socks up, they'll be exported to Macau with that Waller horse that sold on English Digital yesterday.
I won't even ask. I don't know what you're talking about. But...
Well, as a horse got sold, a few Waller horses are on the English Digital platform yesterday, and I think one was sold for $500,000 to go continue racing in Macau or Singapore or somewhere like that. So, anyway.
They have races too. That's the main thing.
They do. And full credit to, trainers in the UK that see Australia as a lucrative dumping ground for their slow stayers over there.
Yeah. Yep.
With the odd exception, of course. Like the best horse in Australia right now, Zaki.
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry.
Just we're lacking good horses at the moment. I'm completely going off it on a tangent here, but I had a look at the field for the Eagle Farm 10,000 just before final acceptances yesterday. It's like Mizzou's going to start favourite off walloping a couple of 4-horse fields in Sydney on heavy 10s.
Yep.
Where are we? It probably comes out and wins by 6 and then wins the Everest, but, are we drawing a lot of Red Zell narrative there because it's the same ownership group and the horse that's on the same path as what Red Zell was? Of course we are.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway.
But that's what happens when you retire all your horses at the age of 3 or 4. No one knows how good they are. You've got no potential superstar matchups. There's no way to drive the narrative. So you end up with Marzu, how good is he? Unfortunately, they did the reverse.
Could be a great setup for a massive unknown and a winner that we never speak about again.
Yep.
Anyway.
All right, Kels.
Well, that was a great preview show, Peter.
Yeah.
We found your feet at Yaffet at any old odds. It'll be winning the Derby, and then the Andrew Ramsden, which full credit to everyone engaged and cheering Rob Scurry's favourite jockey.
Alana Kelly.
Lana Kelly.
Yep.
Well done, us.
Indeed. All right, girls. I'll speak to you on Monday, I think, actually, this week, because we haven't done it for the last few.
No, well, we've got some Group 1 races to dissect on Monday, so that'll be good.
We do too. And that's very important, because as long as they race, we can talk about it afterwards.
Yeah. No arguments here.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye for now.